what I like about my neighborhood. That yeah, we're living in poverty, but to an artist, to a designer, to a scriptwriter, that's gold right there because you could pull from all those stuff. You get what I'm saying? Everyone has their own story. You know, yeah, it's not Beverly Hills, it's not the Hollywood Hills, it's not that, but I feel like here in East LA, the community is like way more tight because everyone knows we're struggling.
Last film, Undocumented.
I thought it did a really good job with connecting, and it was like very raw in the sense of like these are literally things that you think about when you're like in your job. You know, like I think we've all had like jobs where we're just like freaking miserable, right? And like that is like a very like human, you know, like connected to like just the world.
Human experience. Think of some of our first jobs were probably ones that we didn't like too much.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I really like this one as well. I like it for its realism and its kind of grittiness. I think it contrasted a lot to that first one in this set where, you know, I mean, you had like the speakers who were like, you know, well-to-do women or, you know, people with in good positions. The woman herself, her closet, man, she got a lot of shoes. But you know, I really like that. I like that gritty realism, and I like that intersection of like, you know, him, his community, Los Angeles through the lens of an immigrant, and I would really like to see this kind of develop into something longer.
I really liked the way the movie brought you in to see what it would be like to be in that person's shoes and how paranoid they probably are as they go through life. I do feel that there were too many clips where they were out of focus and the editing was perhaps a little too tight. But one thing about the editing of the 6 films, that was the only one who mentioned who the editor was. Editing is really an important aspect of creating a film, and a little more respect should be given to the editors. Thank you.
Really, to make this film like really good, I understand that the hoodie, he was more putting the hoodie over his head, not to be seen. I understand that part, but to make this the film more good, it's more. Even if he wasn't showing his face, he could have showed everybody else those walking in the street, walking in the city, and he's in the middle, but you're not knowing that he's the main character in the film. Now people from like editors, film people, you would kind of see by watching a film different from like, you know, filmmakers. When you're watching a film, it's more different. It's more like you already know the cuts, you already know the scenery, you already know who the main character is, all that. But really, if he would have made it more showing the city, the East LA, showing East LA so people know like really what East LA looked like, showing what buildings, houses, how people living, and from there, that's the standpoint from there.
So I really liked the harsh realities that this movie, this little short had. The fact that we all don't live the same dream, but we all have a dream, and sometimes life crushes that out of us. And especially when we're given limitations and adversity, that isn't something that's easy to overcome. I thought that it was really well done with the out of focus, in my opinion, because here's the thing, this is happening to millions of people across the world, correct? So he's not just one face, he's every face. That's why he did not use his face. And I thought that was a really good cinematic way to dissociate the issue and make it more of a neutral space instead of this person or that person or a man or a woman. It was more of a human, a person, and I thought that was really great.
The reason why it was a close-up on his eye or showing him pulling the hood over his head is that he doesn't want to be seen. He wants to be out of focus to everybody so that someone doesn't recognize him and turn him into ice or something. You know? So seriously, so he wants to cover his head. He wants to not be seen so that somebody's going to identify him and turn him in. So I think I like this film. I wish it would have been a little bit longer. Maybe he could have thrown in, I had friends or family that were picked up and sent back to, you know, Mexico or Guatemala or wherever, to kind of give a little more gravity to the situation and show that the reason why he's so secretive about himself and not complaining to his boss about working so many hours or not being paid for overtime or things like that is because he fears being sent back to where he was from, and maybe he's experienced that with other people that he's close to.
I thought that it was a great short, but I think that the people who are watching it and may be assumed to know what the dreamers are. I mean, most of us probably do, but I think to give it more weight in terms of making that connection between him having his dream and living out his life to pursue his dream, and what the dreamers movement is and what the legality of it is and that sort of thing. Of like, he mentioned minimum wage. Well, you know, the dreamers should be making minimum wage and just kind of putting more weight into, I'm not sure how to describe that, but into the dreamers.
The movement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we have come to the end of our festival.